Writer and motivational speaker Morgan McKeys recently published his new book titled Lucas and Harry, Love versus Money. Now, in this book, Morgan paints a picture of Lucas, a guy who comes from a family that isn't well off but has big dreams and aspirations, and how not having enough money put a lot of pressures in his dating life. He also explores how the love and greed for money pushed Lucas' wife Lucy to jump from one marriage to another in search of a life of luxury, and how that ended in tragedy for her. Well, Morgan is in studio with us this morning and he'll be helping us unpack this rig. Morgan, very good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me, sir.
Let's talk about the story of Lucas and how the subject of money and of love and money appealed to you and propelled you to just explore it in this book.
Well, to put it short, I've had a couple of experiences in my life, and I needed a way to tell a story about those experiences. There were cases in my life where I had to choose love, and there were times where I had to choose money. And there were consequences that came after making either of the two choices. And the best way to tell the story was to come up with characters, fictional characters, and take these experiences and give them to these characters, where one character will choose money and the other will choose love, and then we see what happens after that.
I would imagine it must have been a tough choice to make, choosing between love and money, because all two are equally important, and it must have been a tough balancing act.
It was. Look, it's a constant battle, actually, because it's a contrast of two most important things in life. I mean, we all need love and we all need money as well to survive. But the question is, what do you choose, given a chance where you need to choose one of the two, and you can't have both. And at times, the question is, how do you balance both? I mean, how do you balance the two? Because you need them both, but if you can't have both, or you can't have too much of the one, how then do you balance the two? So what I've done in the story is that I've made Harry to choose an opportunity that's going to give him money, and I've made Lucas to pick an opportunity that's going to give him love. But now there's consequences that follow after that, and then as I go through the consequences of having made of the choices I've made, then we see what happens as the story goes on. But it doesn't end there. In the story, I try to focus more on the choice between love and money. But then there's other things as well. So it's actually a sequel. This book is just an introduction to the big story, to a big story that's still growing.
Okay. Now, I understand there's two kinds of love. I mean, it's encapsulated in the story of Lucas and Lucy and Harry and Cindy.
Yeah.
What are those two kinds of love?
Okay. Well, there's genuine love and there's monetary love. I'm not even sure if it's mandatory love or whatever kind of love it is, but there's a case where you love somebody for who they are, irrespective of what they have. And there's a case where you love somebody for the ideal person that they are, or you think they are. In a case of Lucy and Cindy, Cindy's got genuine love. He loves Harry no matter what he has. In spite of having grilled him to choose love instead of money, and Harry having been stubborn to choose an opportunity that's going to give him money, it pays off in the long run, because he first has money, and then after he's made a success of his life, he then comes back, and then as life turns out and fate takes care of everything, they end up meeting in very unusual circumstances where he runs her over, and then after that, before I actually tell the whole story, but basically they meet under very strange circumstances, and then they reconnect, and then they go back to they get back to being in love again, and then eventually they get to marry. Now, as for Cindy, however, she gets given a chance to support the man in in her life, but she fails to support him in everything that he's going through. Instead, she forces him to make a choice that suits her, which is to choose her over any opportunity that's going to get the guy ahead in life. And then when there's a consequence out of that, which is that the guy doesn't have money, but he's got a lot of love to give to this wife of his. And at the end of the day, because now that he doesn't have money, they start fighting. And then from the fighting and everything, they end up divorcing.
And just going through this book, I see that there's a lot of research that went into it. Take us through the process.
Well, I've done a little bit of counseling in church and outside church, where I've had to sit with married couples and unmarried couples, and I picked up a lot of things, and I took all of those things, put them together with my own experiences, and came up with a book. It's actually a bigger book than it is right now. This is just an introduction to a bigger story, like I said. So as the story grows, people are going to learn more and see more of what this story is actually all about. And I try to
I get a feeling that
listen.
this is quite an interesting read, and well, it's a must read, and I'm sure it's going to be a bestseller. So where can we get a copy?
Currently negotiating with Exclusive Books, Fanscake and Adams bookstores. But currently, if people want the book pronto, they can email me direct or call me on my number, and then I can use a courier company to send the book to them.
Great chatting to you, Morgan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on studio.
That's author Morgan McKeys, and he's been speaking to us about his book titled Lucas and Harry, Love versus Money. Well, if you also belong to a book club or you're a lone reader, you can also join us for a Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Simply send us a detailed description of your book club on email, or you can also send us a picture of those books with the brief caption using our social media platforms. You can use our Twitter handle at Morning Live SABC or hashtag Morning Live SABC. You can also tag or send us a Facebook message via our page Morning Live SABC, and our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za.